I think we're good to go. Just checking on the sound. Testing 1, 2, 3. Well, welcome back, guys. It's another night to talk about what's going on in Kenya. By the way, this what you're hearing is a new beat that I just kind of like, a young Somali talent. You can check him out. His name is CXC. The name of the song is Mahatri. What did you say? So this is not my music. I didn't make this music. I didn't create this music. But I just like the sound and the message. So welcome. Thanks for joining. We have a lot to talk about today. And I hope you're going to be part of that discussion, like you always do. Welcome. We are talking about the debate that has been ongoing about the Kenya-Somali ID. Should they have vetting or no vetting? There's a debate on both sides. But I think people are getting really distracted on the main problem facing Kenya, to be honest. So the Kenya ID vetting is a sideshow. It's a distraction. It's a sideshow. It's a distraction. And it's not fair to the Gen Zs who have come out in the streets demanding a better Kenya for everyone. So when the conversation moves away from the main important goal, and that is changing Kenya, because you can talk about the Kenya vetting, the Somali vetting, however you want to talk about it. But is that going to solve the issue facing Kenya and the generation that is coming, especially the youthful generation? Because the youthful generation in Kenya are making demands. But now people are being easily distracted by the Kenya-Somali vetting. And this, by the way, if you're not following the news, recently the president of Kenya visited the northern part, northeastern part, which is mostly inhabited by Kenyan Somalis, the counties of Garissa, Wajir, and Mandera. So he was in Wajir, made a proclamation. There would be no vetting done to Kenyan Somalis in that region, which everyone has an opinion to it. I have an opinion. I think the vetting process is unfair. It's very unfair. So with that, the solution is very simple. The president said there will be no vetting. So what is your solution? Because people are not coming up with solutions. On my previous podcast, I spoke about the legacy of ID and Kitambulisho and Kipande and Passbook, being it was a British legacy. Hey, PV, what's up? Being a British legacy used to control the movements of Africa or Africans. And that is just a continuation again of controlling another group of people, mostly Somali Kenyans, and restricting their movements. So this is, everyone has an opinion. You have an opinion, I have an opinion. any president can make any proclamation. So this president said, no more vetting, fine. If you disagree with the president, then what's the solution to it? Because you have a community that are saying the vetting process is discriminatory by itself and discriminates and it treats certain group of people that are Kenyans different from the other group. So you as a leader you want to be president of Kenya one day? You want to be a member of parliament? You want to be a member of the Senate? You want to excuse me, I've been sick a little bit today. You want to be part of that? What is your solution to that process? Because there must be a solution. It can't be just this way, one way. It can't be one way. There must be a way. And that way is a fair way for everyone in Kenya, and they are part of that process without one group of people feeling disadvantaged or marginalized or pushed away. So what is the solution? And what about the issue of Gen Z? I keep looking to my left because I swear I can see my comments coming in, and if people are having conversation with me, I'm just also reading that. Super Said says everyone gets vetted or no one. Process all. So everybody has an opinion. Every Kenyan has an opinion on how to do this process. Either what Said is saying is either we all get vetted, or you can't just vet one community. This has happened with the British. Vetting, processing, profiling people that have stood against the British. They created the passport. I have spoken about this on my other. I don't want to keep talking about it. I want to keep going back. But let's talk about the Gen Z. What about the issue of Gen Z? Oh, was this all about election? Was the protest and loss of life by the Gen Z was just all about election? Because that's what I feel like. It's about election. And even if, and that's one thing I find it hard to understand is, what about the Gen Z issue? How do you want to solve that issue? Because it's a problem. The Gen Z issue is a problem. If not now, if not tomorrow, it's something that has to be dealt with. We must find solution for the Gen Z issue in Kenya and the issues that they have raised in their protest. Let's talk about the issue of Gen Z. How do you resolve the issue of Gen Z that have brought? They said they want corruption-free Kenya. They want a free and fair election. They want opportunities for every youth, and look at the number of population of the youth who are unemployed in Kenya. Like I said, it's a ticking bomb. You gotta find solution for this. You can't be distracted by Kenya-Somali vetting process. You can't be distracted by 2027 election. So that's why people who are pushing and hiding behind Gen Z are not very honest. And they have hijacked this Gen Z issue and turned it into their own selfish way of wanting to win elections. That's why you have people speaking at public forums talking about Kenya-Somali vetting, Kenya-Somali this, Kenya-Somali that. Well, Kenyans. But you have to identify. You can say Kenyan Kikuyu, or you can say Kenyan Embu, or Kenyan Luo. I think from now on, you should just say Kenyan with what they are. And please, I beg you, please go read about the history of Yugoslavia. Currently, look at the history of Ethiopia and what's happening in Ethiopia. Kindly go check it out. Go read about it. You don't want to keep pushing about the Kenya-Somali issue. That is a conversation for some other time. You may want to keep pushing the Gen Z issue. And the Gen Z should be at the front of this. I asked the Gen Z, don't let these politicians take over your messaging. Don't let these politicians behind you all in the name of reforming Kenya and using that as a platform to get into power again. The same people. We have a problem. So now let's talk about what's going to happen if we do not address the issue of Gen Z in Kenya. It's an honest conversation, and we must have it, but we must look to the future and say what is going to happen if this issue remains the same and these issues are not addressed. Excuse me, I've not been feeling well the last 2 days. Again, I keep apologizing for that, but bear with me. It's all natural. I'm a human being. I want to give you an examples of countries that have ignored their youth demands. I want to share with you. I don't know if you guys are familiar with countries of South America, but if you have the time now and you have some device next to you that you can use to open, you can go and check. You can pull it out. Click South America. You will get a map of countries of South America. And I'm going to name you some of the countries that have ignored the issue of their youth and where they are right now. And I'm going to give you examples of what happens if you ignore the issue the youth have raised. This might sound horrifying, but that's the reality we're collectively facing, all of us in East Africa. And I'm not only talking about Kenya, I'm talking about Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia, Uganda, and Tanzania. So I'm talking about all Eastern African countries and all mostly African countries too. So it's not specific to Kenya, but I'm just right now specific on Kenya. On touching on Kenya. On what might happen if we do not listen to what the Gen Zs are demanding and the reforms they're demanding and the opportunities they're fighting for. If those are not granted, this is what's going to happen. First of all, nobody is going to enjoy ruling those countries. It's not going to be fun. See what is happening to President William Ruto? It's not fun being president of Kenya right now. Trust me. But it's going to get worse. Whoever comes. If you do not resolve the issues that people are demanding, if you do not deal with the issues people are demanding, this issue is not going to go away. So whoever becomes president, don't think this is just going to go away. So we must listen to our youth and heed what they're saying. This is not a short-term thing. This is not a passing cloud where you're like, oh, it's stormy, so it's over. No, it's just the beginning. So what's going to happen if we do not take what our Gen Zs are demanding and what they're saying? I have told you to go online. So if you have a device, go online, if you have it, and Google South America, and what will pop up when you go to the image is countries in South America. So let's go by country. Okay. We're going to start with the country of Venezuela. The country of Venezuela, completely destroyed. partly because of one-party system. That one-party system has brought in drugs, weapons, criminals. That's one. That's where we are. So they have gone through, Venezuela has gone through that process. And remember, these states have been in existence even before Kenya became independent. So in relative terms, Kenya is really new in this game, this process. So when we go away from Venezuela, you come to Colombia. Colombia has been a center of conflicts for a long, long time, mostly due to growth of cocoa or drugs. Okay, let's come to Ecuador. Recently, Ecuador young generation have endlessly migrated to North America, to the United States. The generation in Ecuador mostly have migrated from Ecuador all the way, have come to the United States of America. What are they looking for? Jobs. What do? They do like things like constructions and any opportunity they can get. And Ecuador is a very rich country. Why did they all leave? Because no one was listening to what was going on and what they were demanding in Ecuador. Corruption, police brutality, all the things that our Gen Z are talking about, all the issues our Gen Z are discussing, all of those issues that the Gen Z have highlighted now in Kenyan protest, it has happened in Ecuador. Now Ecuador has drug problem, it has crime problem. The system of governance have been replaced by drug lords. You have drug dealers, big drug dealers running the country and using as a conduit or as a staging point to export drugs to all over the world. Because the system, when the Gen Z of those countries demanded for change, demanded for a better country, nobody listened to them. The government cracked down on them. And then the judges were bought. The governments were bought. The system was bought. And the system now works on behalf of drug dealers. The country is gone. And this is a small research you can do yourself. I mean, you can take me, what I'm saying. But this is just, I'm just telling you. These are the facts. If you're very intelligent, smart, you can make this conclusion very quickly if you read. And so if you have a leader in Kenya who can listen to this, share with them this program and let them know this is what's going to happen if you do not do what the Gen Z are demanding in Kenya. And that the Kenya-Somali ID vetting is a sideshow. It's a distraction. We are going down to another country, which is also completely getting, and forgive me, I just want to make sure I got my information, all my information in front of me. Another country I want to talk about in South America that did not take the advice or did not take the demands of their Gen Zs was Guatemala. There are more Guatemala immigrants in America. Another country that did not take the heat of Gen Z very seriously is Mexico. There are a lot of Mexican immigrants running away from drug cartels, corruption, everything that you see. See, these issues are the perfect recipe for people who have bad intention to take advantage of. So when you talk about Kenya and vetting, when you talk about Kenya-Somalis as a threat, no. No, you're forgetting one thing. The threats to Kenyans can come from anyone. I've been hearing, oh, if we give Somali Kenyans ID, and by the way, there's a lot of confusion. We got to separate between, and you got to understand. You got to separate the issue. and it's going to be another topic for another day. We got to really separate that issue, and it's an important issue, and I hope we're having that conversation together. We're going to have that conversation. But we're talking about how government fall. They don't fall necessarily through civil war, even though that can happen quickly. But countries can be taken over by drug lords who have money and use that country system as a way of conducting business and selling their drugs all over the world. We have seen this happen. Colombia has been fighting this for for many years. For many, many years, government has been fighting the cartels. Mexico is still fighting the cartels. So if you get a trillionaire, billionaires, drug lords coming to Mombasa or coming to Nairobi and setting up bases, what is going to stop them? And mark you, those are not Somali Kenyans or Somali from Somalia or Ethiopians. Those are Spanish-speaking Colombians or Mexicans. They have billions and billions of shillings. They come settle down in Nairobi and say, hey, we want to buy everything here. Who's going to stop them? You? That's why I'm saying the issue of Gen Z needs to be addressed, because you don't want to give people an opportunity to come to your country and do those things, because what the Gen Zs are talking about is helping stop from that happening. You must respect the rule of law. You must respect the Constitution. You must fight corruption. And you must be able to give every youth in Kenya an opportunity to be successful. You can't have the biggest percentage of the population that is unemployed. 1%. 1% of the countries are billionaires, while the rest are poor. That is a perfect recipe for disaster. And those kids' anger is going to go somewhere. And if you cannot continue providing for the policemen and women, for your justice system and the judiciary, and everything else that you have as a government, easily influenced by cartels to come in and take over. Because they can give them the salary, they can pay them. So why will you want to create a space for these people to come into your country and do this thing? Because they have done this in South America. Address the issue of Gen Z before it's too late. Don't postpone it. Don't kick that ball down the road. Stop the ego. Humble yourself. Calm down. Don't push it. Regardless, power comes and goes. Nobody stays in power forever. You want to leave a legacy? Leave a legacy of rallying people and bringing people together. And be real about it. Admit your mistakes. And be honest about it and say, yeah, let's fix our problem together. There's a problem. We have an issue. Let's find a solution. Gen Z demands have to be met. There's too many angry men, too many angry young men and women in Kenya, man. And it's not only in Kenya. They're in Somalia, they're in Ethiopia, they're in Uganda, they're in Tanzania. And they see no hope. They see no hope. They see despair. They say they want to get out of this country. They want to run away and become immigrants because they see no opportunity. They are fearful, afraid. We have to rally around each other and find solution to the issues our Gen Zs are raising. If we don't, then we're in danger, all of us. We are facing a global threat of terrorism, a global threat of cartels and drug dealers, a global threat of a world that wants to dominate everyone through economic opportunities and putting a stranglehold on the necks of every man and woman who are black in Africa. We're facing the danger of corrupt politicians using every issue that our youth raises just so that they can get in power and continue dividing the people and distracting them from the most important issue, including, of course, Kenya ID vetting. And I started from the beginning of this show that what's the solution for Kenyan ID vetting? How do we come around that? Because there's one group saying they support, another group says we don't. So what's the solution then? So I want to hear from you guys. What's the solution? There must be a solution. And by the way, this vetting thing, let's have a little bit discussion on that, a little bit in-depth discussion on the vetting thing. So guys, there is an East African community thing, and recently Somalia was admitted to that, and so with that comes Somalia gets access to East African countries, including movements, and so. If you look at the population, of Somalia, and you look at the population of Kenya and Tanzania and Uganda, I think the ratio, there's so much imbalance. So what are you afraid of? What are you scared of? Do you want a bigger, broader, more opportunity East Africa? Well, as a Kenyan, you can go work in Mogadishu, work in Kismayu. I mean, isn't that an opportunity? Isn't that a chance for you to put some food on your table and going out? Because I've been to many countries and I've seen Kenyans. They're the most hardworking people, hustlers, man. I've been to South Africa. I've been to the UK. I've been to the Middle East. I've seen Kenyans. They put in work. So why wouldn't you not consider Somalia as one of the places that you can put in work as an opportunity? Why do you want to put an obstacle? I'm not advocating for Somalis from Somalia who are my brothers and I love, by the way, to get IDs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, why are you putting obstacle on an opportunity for all of us? Where you think ahead for our children. Where you can have a Kamau in Mogadishu and a Mohammed in Nairobi. Why can't that not be an opportunity? Why can't Kamau sell his potatoes in Somalia one day? Get his waru and from Nyeri and all the way to Mogadishu. Or sell his milk or tea. Isn't that an opportunity? Isn't that access to new places to do business? And new places for you to be a teacher or to be a student? Why are you moving away from that opportunity? Why are you just looking at the negative? Didn't you even think about the positives of this? Or you have been so brainwashed by these politicians that want to use you as a footstep to get into power and continue dividing you and closing your eyes on the opportunities that are in front of you. A whole country and people all over are in front of you. And you're thinking of that small place, mountain, mountain this, mountain that. Angalia Wazungu, look at these people here. We live in America. I live in America. I live in a place called Minnesota here. These people are white people here are from different part of the world. Some are from Germany, Sweden, Norway, everywhere. They came here, they got along, and they're doing fine because they're trading with each other, and they have removed those petty obstacles between them, and they're successful and dominating the world. Look at the Chinese. So say mambo ya Kenyan vetting hii sijui ni nini oh huyu asifanye hivi oh huyu afanye hivi bana. Stop distracting people. Focus on the Gen Z demands, bwana. Let's do that. Let's build a better country with what the Gen Zs are demanding. Otherwise, everything that I've mentioned is going to befall on us. And if we are not careful, there will not be a country to call Kenya, Tanzania, or Uganda, or Somalia anymore. This is things we need to discuss, and these are the things that we need to come up with solution for. And we must continue pushing those. All right, people. You have any question? Let me know if you have any question. This music is not mine. This is CXC Somali artist Mhatiri. What are you saying? I didn't create this beats. I didn't create this music or the sound. All credit goes to CXC. If you have any questions, I'm about to end the show. If you have any comments, let me know. Oh, by the way, before I sign off, I want to share something, guys. I have many of these awards. This was given to me by the city of Burnsville, where I live. It says, in recognition and appreciation, Yusuf Haji, dedicated to service and to the community and bringing community together and working on community engagement. This is an award I got from the city of Burnsville. You can look it up online. You can search. You can find me there, and my picture will explain to more. And this is what I've worked hard to do. I am not here to divide people. I'm not here to create friction. I'm really out here to make all of us understand and that we all share a very important space, and we all call it home, regardless of where we come from, who we are, what color, what tribe. A little bit of my background and why I say that. Growing up in Garissa, my first teachers were Kikuyu. They taught me how to write and speak English, how to do math. They taught me history of Kenya. They taught me many things. And I'm appreciative of that. If it wasn't for my Kenyan Kikuyu teachers, I will not be speaking to you the way I'm speaking to you right now. And I'm forever thankful for that. I'm forever thankful for that. And so for me, seeing that were the good things. There are also bad things, including getting detained by KDF when I was young during the shifter wars, and seeing my fellow Somali Kenyans being tortured live, and seeing my mother and my sister and myself and everyone else being rounded up, taken to Garissa Primary, which is a school, by the way, there's a field there, made to sit down for almost 9 hours with no water, no protection from the sun, and having guns trained at us, looking at every target. And finally, my father walking in and picking us from the crowd and taking us home. I got away because my father was very influential. I got lucky. So there's good and bad. So is every country. So is every country. Yes, my teachers were only Kikuyus, correct. Of course, I had Somali teachers, but in my formative years, mostly they were Kikuyus. The ones I remember very well. Of course, I had my teachers who are Somalis, teacher who are from the coast, but mostly the subjects that I remember, the ones that I liked, is I have that connection to that. So that's why, to answer your question, that's correct. Sorry, guys, I've been having a little bit of infection of, I don't know if it's a flu. It's really knocked me down for the last 2 days. I just got up and I just wanted to really get this going. But that is my story, and that's where I come from, and that's who I am, and that's my identity. And I want so much a better world. And we're being influenced greatly by what's happening in America too. People don't want to go back home, or they're being forced to go back home. I say go back home and take what you've learned from this country and take it back and make something out of it. If you've learned a truck business, go back home and start a truck business. If you learn how to make music, if you learn how to go back, you can do so much back home. But everybody has a different experience, I guess. Thank you for the question, Abdallah. Appreciate that. Guys, with that, I'd say thank you very much, Yusuf Haji at Haji Daily. I'll see you guys again tomorrow about the same time. Stay safe.
You already know what it is when you pull up with the man, they miss Mr. Blues on the 1-2. محاتري كما مقل مكي دواد محاتري محاتري مكم مقل مكي دواد وحماتري ورا 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 محاتري محاتري كما مقل مكي دواد وحماتري كما مقل مكي دواد وحماتري كما دمي كما دمي شرح بحي هرتو وكيكن دمي يا دمي كما دمي كما دمي يقول علي هلكا يقول علي هلكا afkaygay ka dhacda rasaas adigaas waxaan ku arkaa basaas wana inaad wax ka fahantaa midaas waan qaar ku bartay sibaas balse uma bixin waa saxiix midaas madaa'ime ma aamine xogta lagu siiyo